What's up, guys? It's Ray J back with another video. And in this one, I want to break down what's happening with SPY, Tesla, Nvda, the QQQ, and a couple of other tickers. I'm going to talk about some very key levels to watch for as we're seeing the market starting to show some signs of a small retracement and where the market could potentially get a bounce if we end up holding some key supports. But just know that I am not a financial planner, so take nothing I say as financial advice. And also, if you guys can, please check out my Moomoo link. If you deposit $100, you're guaranteed 5 free stocks. You deposit $1,000, you're guaranteed 15 in total, not to mention 8.1% APY in uninvested cash. The offer ends very soon in just about 5 days. Anyways, let's talk about what's happening with the market. So, I hope you guys had a very Merry Christmas yesterday. It was a holiday for the markets. I also took a break from all of this, but I'm back today and the market's back to normal. It's going to be opening as it normally does. And we have 2 days left for the trading week until we get to the last week of the year for the New Year's. So with that being said, what do we see for the charts right now? We are starting to see some signs that the market's pulling back just a little bit. Totally normal, but we'll be watching to see if we could hold some key supports. Now, as far as Tesla goes, I do want to say that Baird analyst Ben Kahlo has come out. He mentioned that he's going to be increasing his price target to about $480 a share. Excuse me, from 480. He kept his buy rating on the stock, and he mentioned that Elon Musk's ties with President Trump are going to once again intensify an already bright spotlight on Tesla with lots of positive stock reactions. So he's kind of late to say this. This happened a while back, but there is still a lot of upside potential later on. Now, I did mention that for early 2025, however, the self-driving service is going to be very big for them, and he believes that Tesla is a very good buy during lots of pullbacks. So that's a good rating that just came out. On top of this, Barclays has come out and they're saying that Tesla is expected to see fourth quarter deliveries between 511 and 515,000 in total, but they are expecting it to reach at least above 515,000. The consensus is at around 511,000, but they think it's going to surpass it. Despite that, they did mention that it might not affect the share price as much. They're pointing towards AI and self-driving cars being the bigger catalyst for it. So they don't think the share price is actually going to move as much. They think that the impact is going to be minimal, but they do still think that Tesla is going to be looking for Q4 deliveries to break a new record. Once again, above 515,000. They do have that range between 511 and 515,000, which aligns with like what the consensus is, but they're expecting it to be higher than that. So they are expecting at least 515,000. Anyways, for more news, just know that today's Thursday, December 26th, 2024. Once again, guys, yesterday was Christmas. So I hope you guys had a very Merry Christmas. But for today, we have initial jobless claims coming out. This was a little bit below expectations. Continuing jobless claims was very close, a little bit above expectations. Everything else was so-so. The rest of the data is coming out at around 11:30 a.m. as we have some bill auctions. Once again, all minor data. There's something else that's too crazy that's coming out. For other factors out here, just know this. For the broader markets, the market is starting to lower a little bit after approaching Christmas. We're going to be watching to see where we end up holding our support. Besides this, there's been a lot of talk about how there's been a lot of buyers from retail who are buying into stocks like Nvda, helping it at least to some small extent. I didn't see anything else that was too crazy on the news besides that. So now I'm just going to focus on, excuse me, the charts from this point on. So as far as Tesla goes, Tesla approached this resistance around the 470 area. It still looks bullish as we have this imbalance to fill, but before it starts to rocket higher, we might see a little bit of a dip from right over here. If we don't get back above 470, we're looking for 465 as our main support. If that does not hold, we're looking for 460, followed by 456. So watch 456, we got to hold that. If not, we could be dipping closer to like the 446 area near our 20 EMA. So look for a dip to about 460. We'll have to see if that could hold. If not, I'm looking for 456 and eventually back down towards the 446 to 450 area below that. If we get some kind of retracement from here, I do anticipate we're going to be dipping just a bit before it tries to bounce again, and we might get a bounce soon. So make sure you watch these supports and we'll see where Tesla ends up trying to base at first. For SPY, the same thing is happening. So this is starting to retrace a bit. It came very close to our 603 target. It's possible that this just steps a little bit more before it tries to continue to push later on. But make sure you watch 598 as the main support. I think we're going to be testing 598 near our 50 EMA. If that fails us, I don't think we're going to go down to this EMA. We might go a little bit lower to like 595. So watch 598 and 595 as our supports. If 595 fails us, we dip all the way down to 591. 591 happens to be previous resistance becoming support, so we'll have to see if we bounce off one of those levels. So look for 598 and 595 as the main supports. If those don't hold, there's going to be a bigger dip, but then we could still bounce off one of these. I'm not turning into a perma bear. I'm just saying that that could just be our sign of rejection. But there is one thing that could be a concern, and that's the fact that if we never surpass this high, right, it's possible this could just be our lower high, then we could continue to dip. So we're not going to, count on that yet. It's very possible this just dips a little bit, then bounces. But watch and see, do we dip a little bit, then bounce, or do we just continue to lose every support to turn bearish again? It could go either way. For now, just look at this. Look for the very, very tight levels first. Watch 598, 595. Watch those supports to see if we hold. If not, we could be looking for 592. And hopefully we bounce off one of these supports. That's what I'm going to be watching for. Especially 595, that's going to be the main support. So we'll have to see if we can hold this or not. And if we do, then we could try to rebound and make our way right back up. For ES, look for a test of 60.58. If that does not hold, we're looking for essentially 60.30, and we'll have to see if we bounce off one of those levels. Look for a small dip, and we'll see what kind of reaction we get. For Nvda, we're looking for a rejection here. We could be trying to retest 138. If that fails us, we're looking for 136 near or 136.5 near the 50 EMA. So this could be turning back down a bit, and we'll see if we bounce or not off that support. But look for a small retracement, about 138 to 136.5. For Bitcoin, we pumped to 100,000, coming very close to my target, but now it's coming back down to this imbalance. If we can't reclaim 96,400, we're looking for a target of 94,300. We'll see if we bounce off that or not. We'll look for that downside move just to start things off. For NQ, we're looking for a dip back down to 21,800. If that fails us, we could be dipping lower towards 21,500. So look for a small dip to 21,800 below, and then we'll have to see if we bounce off this or not. But look for a little retracement here. Well, I think that NQ is known for being a little bit stronger than SPY. Same thing with the QQQ. We could be dipping closer to about not only 528, but also 525 around that area. If we do dip here, we'll be watching to see if we get some kind of bounce back up to above 530. Look for a small retracement. I think we retest at least 524 to 523. If that does not hold us, then there's going to be a risk of us coming back down to like the 518 area. We'll look for a small dip to about 525-ish around that range. We'll see if we bounce or not. That's assuming 528 does not hold, so just watch that very closely. For Apple, okay, Apple has something very similar developing. We could be retesting the support right here around 257. If that fails us, I'm looking for 255, and then we'll see if we bounce off those supports or not. For the IWM Russell 2000, we're rejecting off our 20 EMA. So I was eyeing the inverse head and shoulders here, looking to see if we could get a breakout, but we actually came short of breaking our 20 EMA. Might retrace to 220 before it tries to bounce. Just keep that in mind. Coin, the same thing. We were supposed to break past this. We rejected instead. So it might be retracing to about 268 instead before it tries to rebound again. This might be a small dip here. If that does not hold, there's going to be a bigger dump. But, there's still an inverse head and shoulder setup. Might get a dip here before it attempts to rebound. For Amazon, we have a double bottom. If we end up losing our support at 226 and 225, we dip. If we try to hold here, we could try to eventually get back up to 230. I think what's going to happen is we dip a little bit to about 226, and then we'll see if we bounce back up to 230 or not from there. I'll be watching if support holds. Meta could be dipping here. So this might be retesting 600. We'll have to see if we bounce off that or not. Otherwise, we could be looking for 592. Microsoft, it's very flat. It's just range bound between 440 and 439, so give it some time. Might see a small retracement to 437. And Google should be retesting 195 and then 192. Looking for 195 and see if we hold this. Otherwise, it's going to dip again. I did say that my concern is like there could be like a head and shoulders forming here. So if this doesn't hold, we could be looking for a U-turn right over here. So look for 195. We'll have to see if we hold that or not, and then we'll see what kind of reaction we get. As far as Tesla goes, the share price is technically, bullish. The trend is bullish. We're trying to uptrend here, but there might be a small retracement to start things off. Tesla might be retesting 460. If that fails us, we're looking for a lot of these lower levels. The supports I called out earlier. We'll see if Tesla bounces off any of them. But with that being said, I thank you all so much for listening. Have a good rest of your day. I'll be back in a couple of hours for another update. Thank you and peace out.